Good afternoon everyone, my name is Connolly from the University of Limerick and I'm here to present the work we've done on Ireland's pathway towards a 100% renewable energy system, the first step. And this is work that we've carried out in collaboration with Henrik Lund and Bríd Meithísson of Ólmór University, as well as a colleague of mine, Martin Leahy, in the University of Limerick. Larry and Mark have already gone over a very good overview of what the current situation is, but I just have a very brief introduction as to what we saw as the motivation for this project. And the first thing I'd like to draw your attention to is this bar chart here on the left hand side. And what that illustrates here is the total fuel required to power Ireland's electricity sector in 2007. And beside that, you have the total electricity generated in Ireland in 2007. And as you can see, approximately 50% of the fuel we purchase is just simply wasted due to inefficiencies within the system. In contrast to that then, Larry mentioned what was the practicable resource available. This is SEI's guess at what is the accessible resource available in 2007. So at the same year that this was going on, we had the potential to use 130% of our electricity demand from onshore wind alone. From offshore wind we could have got 70%, wave energy about 80%, and tidal energy about 10%. So we have a huge waste, but a huge potential. In line with this, the Irish government have set some very ambitious targets heading into the future. By 2020, they want approximately 40% of our electricity sector supplied by renewables, about 12% of our heat sector, and about 10% of our transport sector. So we have a huge potential and a huge ambition to use it. So that kind of set the cornerstone for what this project set out to try and achieve. How do we integrate the most renewable energy into the Irish energy system? And we looked at different methodologies that are taken up around the world with this, and figured out very quickly that the most suitable way to do this was to create a computer model of the energy system. Because there's so many different things you have to consider between technologies, optimization criteria, operating strategies, and so on. So we kind of reached a dilemma very early on. Where are we going to get an energy system model of Ireland? So we kind of started out by creating one ourselves in parallel with looking for other ones. And we really found out very quickly it was better to just get another one, because there's lots of them out there. So what we did was we carried out a review of all existing energy tools, and we found a range of them that could be adapted to suit Ireland, and ended up finding 37 in total. Now, this review was quite a long time, and we ended up working with the people who actually made these models. And we created a review which has now been published just a month ago, which consisted of the 37 different models, and the paper is available online if you want to access it. And there's a whole range of different comparisons we made. But the primary conclusion we got from that was that the optimum tool is very dependent on the specific objectives that you're trying to achieve. And one of the comparisons I use to show that is, if you're trying to investigate the maximum wind you could put on the electricity sector, you'll find one model. If you're trying to investigate the maximum renewables you want in the entire energy sector, you'll find another model. So it's very dependent on what exactly you're trying to answer when you set out at the beginning. So we kind of sat down and said, what is it we want to achieve? When we finish this project, what is it we want to have to show people? And what we did after we set out those objectives, we felt that the energy plan model developed by Ólmór University in Denmark was the most suitable for the specific objectives we were trying to achieve. Now, there was a wide range of objectives, but I'll just go through the three primary reasons that we chose energy plan. First of all, the model considers all sectors of the energy system. It considers electricity, heat, and transport. And that was important because we're not trying to make the electricity sector renewable, we're trying to make the whole energy system renewable. And by integrating the different sectors, we can maximize flexibility and therefore increase more of these fluctuating renewable resources. Secondly, the model considers an hourly time step. Once again, a crucial part of the criteria we set out. We didn't want to have annual time steps because that doesn't account for the fluctuations that occur on a very short time scale in these renewables. So that was another key aspect of the energy planning model. And finally, probably the most important reason, the previous work carried out by Energy Plan was very applicable to what we wanted to achieve. And to try and enforce that point, I've just put together 2 slides illustrating the journals and projects that Energy Plan has been involved in. So first of all, just the journals. Some of these titles really illustrate the kind of studies that it was used for. Management of surplus electricity production from a fluctuating renewable energy source, the exact type of thing that we want to try and do in Ireland, how to manage all these fluctuating renewable energy sources, integration of renewable energy into the transport and electricity sectors through V2G, once again combining these different sectors of the energy system to maximise flexibility and maximise penetrations. And finally then, energy systems analysis of a 100% renewable energy system, in the case of Denmark in years 2030 and 2050. And the first time I read this paper, I said to myself, cross out Denmark and put in Ireland, done. So that was exactly what we wanted to look at.
What's V2G?
That's just a type of electric vehicle, just one of the different types. So then the projects, we'll just take a brief look at the energy plans involved in, and there's more information on these on their website, so I'll just go through it very briefly. These are the ones that I see are the most applicable to this specific project. First of all, the Desire project was where 6 countries in Europe used the energy plan model to investigate CHP and how that would improve flexibility to maximise wind penetrations. There was also this project that has been mentioned a few times this morning already by Larry and Godfrey, the Danish Society of Engineers Energy Plan. And what this project did was it created a roadmap towards a 100% renewable energy system for Ireland. And it focused on the year 2030, but the 2050 was 100% renewable, and the 2030 was what's the first stepping stone to aim for at 2030 in order to get to 2050. And what some people might be aware of, that this project has actually been updated just this year. So this was done in 2006. We now have an updated version that's going to be presented at COP15 for the Danish policy, where they've added in an extra year for 2015. And they've made some very interesting analysis in the terms of costs and so on about how Denmark can step towards a 100% renewable energy system and so on. So these are studies that we felt were extremely applicable to how we could add to the energy debate here in Ireland. And that's why one of the primary reasons that we chose the energy plan model. So now we had basically found out an energy tool we could use. The next stage was, what will we do with it? Now that we know what we want, what should we do first? We had this whole range of options that we could do with the model. And we felt the most important thing to do first was to create a reference model. Now what I mean by that is to just simply model a year that has already gone by to prove that this model could be adapted to the Irish energy system. So we just picked the year 2007 and modelled exactly what happened with the energy plan model. And just to note, this only included the Republic of Ireland, primarily due to the way data is collected. It was quite hard to get a combination between North and Republic, so we just stuck with the Republic of Ireland for the reference model. And what we did was, when we created this reference model for the year 2007, we then compared the actual values that occurred in 2007 with the energy plan results. So we compared things like the CO2 emissions, electricity demands and production on an hourly and annual basis, the heat demands and production, transport demands and so on. And we concluded after making these comparisons that the model is simulating the Irish energy system accurately. The reason being that the largest difference we found was approximately 2%, which was reasonable. And there's a paper completed on this comparison, so if anyone wants to look into the actual details of it, just contact me and I can send it on to you.